About a year ago, Zwift announced their own cycling trainer, and they did so for a screaming deal. The Zwift Hub was priced at just $4.99. It seemed like the idea was to get as many people riding bikes indoors, and people would maybe use the Zwift gaming platform, and maybe more importantly, become a subscriber of the Zwift gaming platform. And it seems to have worked. 77% of Hub sales were made to new Zwift subscribers. The Zwift Hub users were on average 2 years younger than the average Zwift audience member, and since that time, those users have ridden about 17.4 million miles on their Zwift Hub. Today, Zwift is announcing a slight upgrade to their trainer. This is the Zwift Hub 1, with a single cog and the introduction of virtual shifting using this little handlebar attached remote. Zwift's calling it the Zwift Click. And you can shift through 24 different virtual gears, giving you a very quiet, very precise, very quick shift with the click of a button. And this new Zwift Hub 1 is compatible with 8-speed all the way up to 12-speed cassettes. So this is huge if you're like me and you have multiple types of bikes with multiple types of cassettes on them. Now the Zwift Hub 1 is gonna sell for $5.99, and it comes along with a free year of Zwift. The price of this Zwift Hub Classic, now it's called the Classic, has also risen to that same price of $5.99, also with a free year of Zwift. And that still has the option of a pre-installed 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-speed cassette. So if you take the time to learn about this Hub 1 stuff and you don't like the sound of it, you can still buy the Zwift Hub Classic for the exact same price. But then there's also a third option. You can actually buy an upgrade kit for your original Zwift Hub and convert it to a Zwift Hub 1. And there's not really any other changes to this trainer besides the Zwift Hub cog on the Zwift Hub 1 versus that traditional cassette here. So that's the route that I've chosen to go, the upgrade kit, and it actually comes with the Zwift cog itself in this new Zwift Click piece here, and it'll cost you $80. But Zwift will also be offering this new upgrade kit at an introductory price of $60. So if you're like me, you probably have a few questions. A lot of questions, really. Like, what the hell is virtual shifting, and why would we want it? Well, virtual shifting is just the bike trainer adjusting the resistance of the trainer itself, and the software is adjusting your virtual speed and power accordingly. Your chain doesn't actually move at all. It's not technically brand new. Some of the bigger bike trainers like the Wahoo Kicker bike, the Stages bike, the Tax Neo bikes, they all do kind of the same thing, this virtual shifting information and then kicking out the correct power information to these devices. And in practice, it's actually very cool. Shifting is faster, it's smoother, and it's quieter. Or I'll say, I think it's quiet because it's not really shifting. The cog itself doesn't seem to put out a ton of noise, but again, this is a single cog designed for a wide variety of bike chains, so that might make it a touch louder. It's kind of hard to say without actually doing some real noise testing. But you also get a pretty wide range of gears here. The gear ratio is it's from 0.75 all the way up to 5.49. So if you do have an old 8-speed bike like this one, you can actually get better gearing by using the virtual shifting. And then I also like that this virtual shifting, you can actually see what gear you're on the screen itself. It's just kind of right below your power numbers in the top left corner of the screen. And then again, the other thing would be that there's less wear and tear on the chain itself because it's not actually shifting. And again, you're also keeping your chain nice and straight. There's no cross chaining, and that should provide less wear and tear on the chain. But you might also be asking, Zwift, like what the hell, I just bought this Zwift Play controllers. Do I still need to buy this Zwift Click thing? And the answer to that is you can actually use your Zwift Play controllers as a Zwift Click. So the Play controllers with those little tiny buttons on the outside will allow you to go up and down the virtual gears. And I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think you're gonna actually prefer the Play controllers to this little Zwift Click device. Again, for me, I tend to do a lot of indoor riding on my TT bike, and the Zwift Click tends to fit that a lot better. But if you're like many others and you tend to prefer a road bike, I think the Play controllers are probably ideal. Okay, but what if we don't have a Zwift Play controller or this new Zwift Click thing or that new Zwift Cog thing? As far as I know, you will need one of those to unlock this virtual shifting on Zwift. That's as of now. This recording is like mid-October of 2023. I'm guessing it'll potentially change as more and more additional hardware comes out on the market. Now, one huge question is probably, will this new Hub 1 work with my XYZ bike? And I think the biggest positive of virtual shifting is this new Hub 1 is very compatible across a ton of different bikes. The Hub 1 works with any 8 to 12 speed bike. It'll auto-calibrate to your physical gearing. I've tried this with my 11-speed TT bike, my wife's 8-speed road bike, my own 12-speed road bike, and my mountain bike, which is also, I think, 11 speed. Everything just seemed to work. Everything worked as expected, and it was pretty easy to move things around. And you might be wondering, how was that upgrade process? What kind of special tools do you need? Do you need a chain whip? That might be something you don't have. Well, the only tool that you really need is the wrench that came with the Zwift Hub. I didn't even actually need that because this little locking Zwift Hub axle adapter, it wasn't screwed in all that tight, but you should need a 17mm wrench or an adjustable wrench that would work as well. Once you've removed that, the free hub and the cassette all come off together in one piece, and the new Zwift Hub just goes straight on there. You might wanna wear gloves if your cassette is dirty like mine. Don't remove the washer that's kind of on the base back there. Just slide the Hub 1 cog straight onto the axle. You might want to give it a slight turn counterclockwise just so that it fully engages those little pawls. You should be able to spin the Hub 1 cog backwards and hear those free hub pawls clicking away. Same kind of noise that your friends might make if they're spinning their wheels behind you, letting you know that you're letting down the entire pace line that you're in front of. Thanks for that, guys. And then you'll replace the axle adapter, tighten it to about 6 Newton meters, and then when you put your bike back on, I suggest aiming for the middle gearing. So probably gear 5 or gear 6. If you do get your bike on there and you hear any sort of clicking, like the chain is skipping a tooth, or maybe the chain is rubbing against that Zwift cog, shift up or down and try to find that sweet spot in the middle. I'll leave a link in the description of this video to what Zwift has for their entire setup process. They actually do a really good job with their instructional videos, but it is a surprisingly smooth setup process. And now you might be thinking like, oh, holy hell, Zwift Cog is extremely cool. Will it work with my non-Zwift XYZ bike trainer? Nope, not currently, not at the time of this video. You can't upgrade a non-Zwift bike trainer. And again, that might change in the future as well. I have no idea. And this video was recorded in October of 2023. Now, there are a few parts to this Zwift Hub virtual shifting that I don't love, but they're kind of minor. I will say that I am very much like a trained animal. I instinctively hit my normal electronic shifting buttons, which drives my rear derailleur out of line. Front shifting works just fine, and you can actually use front shifting to find the best fit for your virtual shifting needs, especially if you're sprinting or something like that. But otherwise, I'd probably suggest that you stick with the small chainring in the front, just because I do think it ends up being more accurate from a power accuracy standpoint. But unlike the front chainring, the rear derailleur does shift, and it can shift the chain into that round plastic edge of the Zwift cog. It's not a huge deal, but it's just kind of one of those reminders that I have some learning to do on this device, and I shouldn't hit the wrong button as far as which button to shift to actually perform that virtual shift. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to actually unplug your Di2 rear derailleur, or maybe take out the battery of your Axis wireless shifting if those are one of the devices that you happen to have, or if that's an option for you. So after playing around with this, and again, I've only had this for a little while, do I recommend that you guys upgrade your Zwift Hub? Well, it's $80, which is a pretty large chunk of change in addition to the $500 that you've already spent on the original device. But what's amazing about this little cog is the fact that you can use it with so many more bikes at your house. So for me, as I look around my garage with tons of different bikes, with tons of different cassettes, this little device becomes pretty valuable to me. So if it were me, I'd probably snag one, especially while it's on this introductory pricing of $60. So whether you're virtual shifting or regular shifting, Zwifting or not Zwifting at all, I really do hope that you are getting out there swimming, doing some sort of biking, running, rinsing, and repeating it all over again. And we will see you guys on the next one.